everybody, Nancy here from American Pet Professionals. Welcome to our next episode in our spring season of Digging into the Pet Industry. We are here live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So wherever you are watching from, thank you so much for watching. And wherever you are listening from, if in a future podcast episode, thank you so much for listening. Today, I am so happy to bring on our next guest, APP member Michelle Huie. Hey, Michelle from ShopDot
Hello.
Pet.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks so
It's
much for having me.
No, I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so excited to jump in and share ShopDot Pet to everybody because it's a fascinating platform what you're doing. So here on Digging into the Pet Industry, we like to dig right in. What I would like to do is take it back a little bit as to before you started in the pet industry, what was your background and what did you start doing?
Yeah, so I'm kind of, I guess, a serial entrepreneur. Prior to ShopDot Pet, I actually launched a product in the health and wellness space. It's actually a stylish compression sock company called Women Bigger that I launched about 12 years ago.
Oh,
And
wow. I
so
didn't know
I've
that.
been, yeah. And so I've been in the retail world of brand manufacturing, selling, wholesale, e-commerce for about 12 years. So I launched that company about 12 years ago. I have a great team. I still own that company. I have a great team of people running that business and came up with the idea for ShopDot and have been obsessed with getting this platform out into the world.
Wow, that's amazing. So I didn't know you actually had a physical product. I knew you were in retail, but I wasn't sure that was your
Yeah.
background. I didn't know you had a product. That's really interesting.
Yep.
So being in that product part of it, so then you kind of have really good view for both sides of what Shop.Pet is. Did you pay attention to what was going on in your growth of that in the pet industry? Like, did you notice what was happening in the industry while you were doing what you were doing?
Yeah, so when I was with Women Vigor, I would say I noticed this several years ago, I would say maybe 5, 6 years ago, where I would actually have a lot of service businesses since my product is in the health and wellness space. I would have a lot of doctor offices, medical offices wanting to sell our product, but they didn't want to do traditional retail, right? They were a service-based business. They didn't want to buy the inventory, carry the inventory, and sell it. And they also didn't want to do affiliate links, right? They didn't want to like hold on to
Yeah.
all these links and share it with people. So it's a very clunky experience. And I remember this one time, especially during COVID, had a medical office call like a customer service and saying, "Hey, I have a patient here who really wants your product. Can you ship it to them? They're this size and this." And I was like, this is not going to work. How do I enable a service-based business, which there are hundreds of thousands, millions of, to be able to easily sell my product to a customer that really wants it without
Right.
kind of following the traditional retail model that's been going on for a very long time. And so that's really how the idea for ShopDot came about.
That's really interesting. So you weren't even really looking at pet. You were looking at just an easier way to get your product into your customers' hands, kind of bypassing the doctor's offices.
Yeah, so it's by working with the medical offices and working with the service-based business. So it becomes this win-win thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I actually thought of the idea for really just service-based businesses. And it really didn't start off in the pet industry initially when I thought of the idea.
So what was the determining factor to bring you to
Yeah,
our lovely industry?
I love it. Yeah. So what happened was I decided in around 2022, it's like, okay, am I going to build something like this, a platform that's going to enable this to happen? Because inherently what ShopDot is, it's a double-sided platform. What I mean by that is I have to onboard brands and brand suppliers, and I have to onboard the sellers or selling partners in the businesses. So it's not that easy of a platform to do, right? Which is probably why it doesn't exist. Like a platform like
Right.
ShopDot actually doesn't exist right now for really any industry in the way that I'm building it. And there's a reason why. It's not easy. It's really hard.
Right.
And so when I initially in 2022, I decided, okay, I'm gonna do this. I could not get it out of my head. And I know pretty much everyone that's part of APP, they're entrepreneurs, they're founders.
Mm-hmm.
They know what it's like to, and you all know what it's like to have something in your head and you can't shake it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yep.
sometimes these ideas, it's not like you're picking something. Sometimes you feel like they are picking you and
That's
feeling
true.
like you're the person that's going to shepherd this into the world, right? And I know that a
Yeah.
lot of people feel that. That's really what I felt with ShopDot, because of my experience also from the brand's perspective, but also I grew up with the family of small business owners. My mom had a hair salon, and I knew how hard it was for her to really only make the money based on the hours that she was working, and how many haircuts or perms she did was kind of the limit of what she was able to make. And retail was never a component, even though she recommended products all the time, because the traditional model didn't apply to her as a service business. And so having that perspective, I really felt like ShopDot was something that I felt like I had to bring into the world. So in 2022, decided to raise some money to build ShopDot, spent 2023 building it. And again, at that time, wasn't focused on the pet industry, was initially focused on the industry that I had more experience in, right? Which was kind of the health and wellness kind of world. So I did but what was really interesting and saw, when we launched, we saw some success there. But what was interesting is I actually had a couple of pet brands join the platform. Not quite sure how they found us, because it wasn't marketed towards pet.
Right.
And then all of these dog trainers and groomers joined the platform. Again, not quite sure like how it happened, right?
Yeah.
This was, I would say, in early 2024. And I felt like, I'm like, there's something here. There's a reason why I'm not marketing to this group, yet they joined and they're very eager, right?
Yeah.
And so I actually decided to interview these businesses and just ask them, why did you join? What was interesting to you on wanting to use a platform like ShopDot? And they said, we recommend products all the time. People ask us all the time what we recommend, and there's really no model for us. Like Amazon affiliates, that's kind of going away. And we want to looking for a platform to make it easier. You already have one pet brand on. I said, well, what do you need to see from me in order for you to really use this? And they said more pet brands. And so at that point, I would say about a little over a year ago, early last year, I actually decided to go dark and just only retool the platform specifically for the pet industry, and then just go to town and just that. I actually walked Global Pet Expo, and my mind was blown. Was kind of like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And decided to go all in the pet industry from there. And that's really where ShopDot Pet really came about.
I love that. And I love when people are new and they go to global for the first time, you can see the mind blow emoji because they're like, what is happening? Yeah, that's so
right.
Cool. So, okay, so you decided that's it. We're going to go all in pet. Let's talk about what Shop.Pet does for brands and retailers and all the people that use it. Explain to me and everybody watching and listening what actually ShopDot is. Shop.Pet.
So ShopDot.Pet is a platform that enables pet care providers, service businesses like groomers, trainers, rescues, shelters, to build an e-commerce store. So from ShopDot, you actually can build, we give you a URL and an e-com store and a template. And all you're doing is you're publishing products from brands that are on the platform to sell. So you get to curate your own shopping experience for your community and for your clients. And then you have a site in which your clients can find products that you love, discover products, and also check out. So there's a complete checkout experience. When the customer checks out on your storefront, again, the end customer doesn't know ShopDot. We're just like kind of that middleware platform. All they know is they're shopping from an e-commerce store. When they check out from your store, we actually route the orders back to the brands and they ship it to the end customer. So it combines kind of three things into one. It combines like a website builder, an e-commerce website builder, plus drop shipping, because we have about 120 pet brands on our platform already.
Wow.
Plus affiliate marketing, because those businesses earn a percentage of the sale. And the brands dictate the percentage. So it's anywhere between 15 to around 30%. We have one brand giving up to 50% on every sale. So it gives these businesses the opportunity to tap into their trusted, relationship that they have with their clients, recommend products, but not only end it there, but actually sell it. And it's much more convenient for the end customer to just buy everything that you're recommending from one place.
It's incredible. I have had firsthand experience seeing the platform. And I remember when we first met, I was like, oh my God, my mind was going crazy on all the ways that people could use this for their existing
Mhm.
brick and mortar business. If they didn't have a brick and mortar business, if they're a dog trainer saying, we love these products, here you go, instead of sending them somewhere else, that sends them right to their store. So, how does it work if somebody is a brick and mortar and say they have a tiny store and they want to add more products and recommend other products and they can't have it in the store?
Yeah. So that model is kind of what I call never miss a sale, right? You have your customer there, they want something in particular. Maybe it was a color, placemat that you just never didn't buy. What's amazing is you have access directly to the inventory of the brands, and you can actually place the order there for them as well. And so
Yeah.
what I also see is that brick and mortar independent retailers too, a lot of them don't do e-commerce because it's a pain in the butt, traditional e-commerce,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
You have to upload all your inventory that you have in there. Then when you get the order, you still have to pick, package, ship it, right?
Right, right.
So it just there's a lot of friction, which is why people don't engage in it. And don't forget, there's a component that a lot of businesses know, that if you are the merchant of record on that e-commerce store and you ship it to other states, there's also interstate sales tax you have to deal with. With ShopDot actually serves as a merchant of record. So really, all you're doing is you're getting your commission on the sale without a lot of this accounting and administrative issues that you can see with e-commerce.
It's really incredible. And is there an area of the industry, of people that have been creating their own stores that kind of surprised you? You were like, whoa, I didn't think this was going to be the people that started creating their own stores.
We've been seeing the most organic growth with dog trainers.
Okay. Makes sense.
And that would make a lot of sense. We just we're at the Animal Care Expo, and the rescue and shelter space is an area that earlier in the year I wasn't really actively thinking about, frankly,
Yeah.
and decided to go to the Animal Care Expo, and the feedback was tremendous because
Yeah.
it gives these animal welfare nonprofits another way to fundraise, right?
Yeah.
Especially if grants are going down, donations are going down. How do we further help these animal welfare nonprofits? What if they're able to actually sell pet essentials to their community as a way to fundraise, right? It just changes the game. There's never been anything or a platform that enables like a different model of fundraising like this.
It's really incredible. So how does it work on the pet product manufacturer? You said you have 120 brands and maybe some brands are listening or watching and like, wait a minute, I didn't know about this. How would it work on their end? How do they get enrolled and all of that?
Yeah, so they would just onboard. We integrate with Shopify and WooCommerce right now.
Okay.
We're working on a Magento and BigCommerce integration as well. So pretty much that covers, I would say, 95% of what brands use. And we actually pull in real-time inventory, all your product listing content. So it's a really easy, I mean, we've had brands onboard in 10 minutes. And so they pulls that information in, and you get to decide which ones you want to make active from there, and what you want to make available, as well as you get to decide what commissions you want to pay out. And we handle all the money movement. So when a customer pays or buys from a ShopDot powered storefront, we handle all the movement of money from the commission payouts to the sellers to paying back the brands as well.
That makes it so easy on everybody's end. You don't have to worry about where this is, how am I going to do this, for the manufacturer to say, how is this going to happen? It seems
Yeah.
very seamless to me. And I think you could even have more people, like even pet influencers or pet sitters, because they always get those, from the pet parents that they're taking care of, looking for recommendations. Like they could have their own store, right? Whether they're an independent pet sitter or with a franchise.
I really am, the more you think about it, I really look at these pet care providers as almost like the next level influencer, right? They're
Hmm.
just your in-person influencer.
Yeah.
And if you look at the way shopping has happened with going on Amazon, going on a Google search, you're having what people call like endless aisle fatigue, right?
Yeah.
You type in something that you're looking for, but you don't know which one is good, what's legitimate, what's a real review versus a fake review.
Right,
And
right.
so I really think that the service pet care providers can play such a critical role at helping the end customer get the right products that they need for their pet. These pet care providers are in the pet world day in and day out. They get feedback all the time. And there's a lot of trust with those
Yeah.
recommendations that come with it. So I really see kind of this happening, and it's exciting to be able to support it.
Yeah, I love it. I think that it just can help everybody all around. Like you were saying with the animal rescues before, they may not have a space in their facility to have a store. I know being at the trade shows over the years, I've met some bigger animal care facilities that are nonprofit rescues that they actually have a storefront in their rescue,
Mhm.
but not everybody has that, right? Or they might not be
Yeah.
allowed to have that in their area because maybe that, their hours and all those type of things. So I think it is really quite interesting. Have you met with any resistance from brands from figuring out how it is to go on to ShopDot or anything along those lines?
Not right now. What's interesting is, so we launched I would say our 1.0 version late last summer, in the fall last year. And we are in the process of incorporating a lot of feedback that we've gathered from both sides, from both the
Mhm.
brands and from the selling partner side. And also kind of how can we strengthen the collaboration between the two? Because one thing I hear from brands is that they've never really been able to figure out how to effectively collaborate with groomers and trainers and how to kind of reach them and help them kind of offer their product without
Yeah.
using, again, traditional affiliate links. And so we're actually in the process of incorporating pretty much a lot of the feedback, most of the feedback, and we're about to relaunch our 2.0 version, I would say in mid to end of July.
Ooh, that's
So it's
exciting.
yeah. I'm putting it out there. Like really forcing my team to like there's a deadline. It's
Yeah, yeah.
recorded now. But it's looking really, really good. And we've kind of put together an advisory board of
Okay.
trainers, groomers, rescues, and shelters as well, to give us feedback on the platform to make sure that this 2.0 version, it really hits a mark for a lot of people.
That's really fantastic. And so, how are people that have their own ShopDot stores? How is the branding? Like, is it going to look like ShopDot Pet, or would it be like if I had one American Pet Professional store type of thing?
It would be American Pet Professionals. So it would not, like, again, the end customer wouldn't know it's powered by ShopDot.
Right. Okay.
So you would be able to put your own banner on it. It's your own URL that you get. You can also mask the URL to your own custom URL. So you can have a shop.americanpetprofessionals.com, and that would be the URL that everyone goes to buy product, and ShopDot would come up. So it's a fully kind of customized experience for you. You also get to curate your products. You also get to create your own special collections. And so we have dog trainers actually create products that are really paired with the training that they provide.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
so they create collections based on the type of trainings that they provide. So it gives that level of flexibility, but not too much flexibility where it can be overwhelming. So it's
Right.
that fine balance, whereas like you can go off the shelf template and be able to have a site really quickly, to if you wanted to customize more, you can as well. So we kind of are working on that balance.
I love that. It's like a private label for a storefront, right? So if I
Yes,
put it
yeah,
on my website, it would just be like store or products here
yep,
or something, and they click and it would go right to my storefront that they wouldn't even know
exactly.
they went off our website. That's so cool.
No, yeah. And like one thing I always say is, and you know this, and we know this in general, right? So it's like our next level is really helping the selling partners and the businesses, really helping them with how to actually promote their store, right? How do they partner with brands on promotions that they can
Oh
offer their
yeah.
customers, different things like that to really make it really enticing for their community.
Yeah, you have to tell people you have a store. You can't just put the store there and expect people to find it.
Yeah, people do. I do get that though sometimes. Like it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I didn't get that many sales. Well, have you told anyone about it?
Marketing
No. I was
101.
like, I'm like, maybe let's start with that.
Right, right. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So the setup is quick. People that are in any area of the industry can set up their own store. And 120 brands in a year is really fantastic. Congratulations on that number growing. I know you're always sending out the emails that say, look at our next new brand, look at our next new brand. I'm like, look at her go, right? So if a brand was looking to, let me ask you this. If it's a small brand, right? Because if it's a small brand and maybe they don't have, maybe they're doing small batch products or anything like that. Is there anything that you could give them advice-wise if they wanted to sign up with ShopDot Pet?
Yeah, I think advice-wise is, as any brand, you have to get on every channel possible, right?
Yeah,
And so my thing is, it doesn't cost, there's no monthly fee for a brand to join ShopDot. And so the more exposure that people can see your brand, the better. So that's
yeah,
like first and foremost. Is like if there's an opportunity and it's easy enough for you to get on, just get on the platform, right? That's
yeah.
first and foremost. And then the second thing is, we do send out an email to all of our selling partners every time a new brand joins. We are incorporating some more kind of partnership opportunities in the upcoming, I would say, month or two as well.
Okay.
And then also utilize ShopDot less of a as like, of course, there's a marketplace component to it, but utilize ShopDot as a tool. So when you're talking to and selling to trainers or groomers, or even indie retailers that are interested in your product, but maybe they're not ready to, pull the trigger on actually doing an order. ShopDot's a really nice way for them to test things out, right? Of like,
Yeah.
okay, a way for them to sell the product without necessarily paying for upfront inventory, to do it via promotion, work with those retailers or those businesses on, why don't I offer you a promotion for 10% off for this next month? And why don't you send an email campaign? See how you do. If it does well, you should bring us in. So it's like, it's one of those things where, especially with the environment that we're in, it's
Yeah.
just for a smaller brand that's just trying to get in there, a nice kind of low risk way to engage those selling partners.
I love that. It's so smart because that'll bring them to the next step, right? And the resistance that I hear a lot from, brands that are starting out, they're not ready yet. We're not ready for that next step yet. And I'm like, yeah, but if you don't take the next step yet, when are you going to be ready, right? So
Yeah.
being part of like ShopDot will kind of push them along, right? Kind of like push you to that July deadline.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
You got to put it out there. I kind of call those moments of points of no return
Yeah.
moments.
For
So
the
once you
ship.
kind of create those for yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Once you create those for yourself, you're like, I guess this is happening.
Yeah, yeah. That's so cool. Okay, so let's talk about you have been to so many pet industry events in the last year. Every time I talk to you, you're like, I'm going to be at this event. I'm going to be here. I'm like, oh my God, she's all over the place, which is amazing. So being at all the different trade shows and conferences, is this something that you did in your past business? And if
Yeah, yeah.
so,
I would
right?
say,
Go ahead.
yeah, you have to, again, if you build it, they won't come, right? I can't
Right,
expect
right.
to build a platform like ShopDot that is a community focused platform without being part of the community. And it's been an amazing community, like
That's awesome.
very open. People, one thing that I'm so struck by is the number of people, and you made this comment too, it's like, I hear it's about time that somebody created a platform like this.
Hmm.
And so there's been this eagerness to helping this be successful. And I really appreciate that.
That's amazing. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what is the difference that you see? Because I know some of our members have come from some cutthroat industries, and they come in the pet industry, and they're like, we can't believe the support that everybody gives us. It's really kind of universal in our industry, I think.
It is night and day. I came from the apparel and gift world. I would go, there was one year that I think I went to 20 trade shows, no
Oh
joke.
my God.
And that industry is a lot more cutthroat.
Yeah.
Um, it's they feel like they live in more of a scarcity mentality
Hmm.
than what I've seen in the pet industry. There's definitely more of that mindset of an abundance mentality,
Yeah.
and I think that there's been a lot of growth in the industry, which has been positive for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's been really welcoming.
That's cool. And so, is there a specific area of the industry that really intrigues you that you weren't expecting?
I would have to say that every industry is so different because,
Yeah.
initially when I really focus on pet, they're like, pet, that's a lot, even just in pet. And when
Yeah,
you
there's a
deal with
lot of
pet
areas of
services, they all have their own different personalities, from
mhm.
groomers, from dog trainers, the rescue and shelter world, the doggy daycare world. It is all four of those are vet world. They're vastly different
Yeah, yeah,
personalities.
yeah.
And so I think that's there's definitely nothing that's homogenous about it,
Right.
which is really fun, but also can be really challenging when you're trying to
Hmm.
kind of get a group onto a platform because there's such individual players. Um, they're very entrepreneurial is one thing that I really admire, actually. People are willing to try new things.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
definitely something that I'm struck by. I was also, prior to being with my other product, very heavily in the outdoor industry, and definitely
Okay.
noticed that the outdoor industry a lot can be a little bit more old school in how they go about engage marketing and digital marketing. Whereas I'm seeing a lot more kind of open arms, with the pet industry of embracing new
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that a lot of people in the pet industry, they embrace the marketing even if they're challenged by it because it can be a lot if you're trying to do everything, and if you're especially if you're doing it yourself, it's definitely a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
really cool. And the outdoor industry and the pet industry, they do kind of merge because there's a lot of products and that mindset
We
that
do.
is similar. So that's cool that you have that background. If
Yep.
you could give a new pet pro a that's just coming into the industry a piece of advice, especially in the online
Mhm.
space, what would you say to them?
Oh man, online. Well, I'll give you like a general piece of advice, and then
Sure.
I'll think about the online space. I think the biggest piece of advice, especially if you're new, kind of pet professional, even if you've started companies before, I have to remind myself that everyone who starts a business is extremely passionate. But the key is don't be precious. So be passionate, but not precious.
Mhm.
And this has struck me a lot because sometimes that passion and that preciousness, you like hold on to an idea that you feel like is a right idea, even though the winds are telling you it's not. That's when you're being too precious on the idea, and you
Yeah.
can be passionate but not precious. And I think that's like the one piece of advice that's sometimes really hard to do in the moment, if as an entrepreneur or business owner.
Yeah.
From the online space, it is changing so fast.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, with AI, I mean, we can have a whole talk about AI and
I
how we think
know.
about it.
We'd be here
But
for a month.
yeah, exactly. And it's going to evolve and change. And the thing is, it's kind of like it's important to keep those in mind, but there's also a concern of shiny object kind of
Yes.
component,
Hmm.
because you can go down a rabbit hole of something that may not be there in like a week or two. And
Right.
so it's kind of striking that balance of like, what you're good at, keep the main thing for you, be open to different types of technology. When it comes to channels, you have to go where your customers are. So really
Yeah.
think critically about what that is and just be there,
Yeah.
no matter how that looks. So, yeah, I would say those are kind of my two bits of advice.
That's fantastic advice because it is so true. We all definitely can get that shiny object syndrome. A lot of people are either intimidated by AI or embracing it so much that they're kind of leaving fragments of their business behind because they're just going all in on AI and they're forgetting about why they started their business, right? I've seen that
Right.
a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I like AI, but I'm like, listen, that you can't use it for everything as much as you want to, right? I feel like it'll take
It's
away
like you're
from,
not an AI business. So, but
right? It's really quite interesting. So is there
yeah.
anything else that you would like to add about Shop.Pet that I did not ask you about?
No, I would say, like, I welcome people to join. There's no fee for brands to join. We do charge a transaction fee only when product is sold.
Okay.
On the seller side or the pet business side, there is a free plan. There's also a growth plan. Right now, that growth plan is $19 a month. So
Oh, okay,
something
that's
crazy.
no, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and so we kind of, for now, are keeping it at that. I encourage you to join. We love feedback. So, and know people who have been out using the platform, they're going to see our 2.0 and they're going to look at it and be like, thank you for incorporating this feedback, because we do listen to it, and you have the ability to help us shape where this platform can go and how it can help others as well. So definitely encourage you guys to join.
I love that you're listening to your customers on both sides, because I've worked with a couple of platforms for like 16 years, and they listen to feedback when I'm like, hey, there's this thing isn't working. What about this? Can you add that? And like they really take the feedback from their customers so seriously with their online platform, and that they incorporate it. And you see over time, and I'm like, I know I wasn't the only one requesting that change or that addition. So it's so important to listen to that feedback. So thank you for listening to that. So where can people find you that are watching or listening?
So you can go on shop.pet.com.
Okay.
So if you go there, you can actually create an account there as well. And it has all the information on how it works. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Michelle-Huie is my handle. And or follow us on we're everywhere. Like the advice I just gave, like be everywhere. We're on LinkedIn,
Right.
we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. So you can find me in a lot of places.
Awesome. Michelle, I wish you so much luck and success with what you're doing with ShopDot Pet, and we will chat soon. But I thank you so much for coming on to Digging into the Pet Industry today. And for everybody watching and listening, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Thanks. All right. Bye.